So I thought I would try something different this time. In the past, when things have happened to me, I've kind of waited till most of the story was had unfolded, or I had time to process things. But I thought I'd do it differently this time. I thought I would do it while I'm still processing. So let me kind of backtrack a bit and start at the beginning. 3 months ago, I was working in renovation. We demolished a bathroom to be able to renovate it. And, during the demolition process, we had to wear masks when there was dust and stuff like that. But, you don't want to wear your mask all day long because it sucks wearing a mask and you have a hard time breathing. So, once most of the dust would settle, then we take the mask off. But of course, there's always dust particles left in the air. So, after that, I started kind of coughing. And the cough just never went away. And, weeks passed and then months. And at this point, it's been around 3 months and I'm still coughing. And, I'm a very, well, I'm both a positive, optimistic person, and I'm also very stubborn and the type to deny things until it's inevitable. But because I'm in a relationship now and I know my girlfriend worries about my health and my well-being, I'm like, I'm going to go do some tests just to make sure that everything's fine. That way I can tell her like, hey, we did the test, everything's fine. We just need to let my body heal and everything will be fine. So, went to see my or had a phone call with my family doctor, asked to get, whether what other tests we can do. So she's like, oh, we can do blood tests, run a bunch of tests there, and we can do a chest X-ray to check just to make sure your lungs are okay. So scheduled an X-ray for Friday, so 3 days ago, because now today's Monday. And she just called me, I don't know, maybe like an hour ago at this point, and she's like, yeah, bad news. We found multiple masses in your lungs. We don't know what it is yet. I'm going to reach out to the hospital. They're going to call you within the next couple of days, schedule all the tests necessary to figure out what this is. And we're probably looking to have to do a biopsy and everything. And I'm also like, she's going to add more tests to do to the blood test just to figure out exactly what this is. But she's like, I want to be honest with you. It could be anything, but I spoke with the oncologist and asked, what are the odds? Like, what could this be? And the oncologist was like, my three first guesses would be cancer. So even though nothing is confirmed, it could still technically be anything. There's a high likelihood that it could be cancer. And it does explain the coughing for the last 3 months. Like it could explain the weight loss and the lack of appetite and, a few other symptoms that I've been experiencing that seemed unrelated. But whatever this ends up being, there's potential for this being very serious. And, that's probably why my eyes are so red because, once you hear news like that, even though I don't know what it is, it still, makes you take a step back and reconsider everything in your life, including work, including, relationships and everything. It's like, the thing is, I've experienced enough and I worked enough on myself, and, I faced death a couple times, and I know that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. I'll be able to process this. Even if it gets to the point where it's like, all right, I'm going to die. I know that I'm going to be able to accept that. I'm going to be able to, you know, do what I have to do to deal with this. What I'm most worried about is my girlfriend because, she's far away and I know she's already worried about my health. And now with this, if it turns out to be something serious, if it turns out to be cancer or whatever it is, it's like I just feel bad that she has to go through that. Especially if she's far away. It's like there's nothing she can do. She can't even be there for me. And it's just, it sucks. And it's getting like, it's to the point where it's like, I'm still processing. I'm still trying to figure everything out. And I know like I don't want to jump to any conclusions. It could still be anything. But there has been the thought of, all right, what if it is the worst case scenario? And part of me is like, I don't want to put my girlfriend through this. So part of me is like, if it is, I think I have to be upfront with her and be like, hey, I think it's best if, we just end things here because I don't want you to have to go through that. And that's just the thing. It's like when you deal with with something so intense. Like it makes you see the world in black and white, in extremes, and it's like you understand what's really important. And it's like I know that it's way too early to jump to any conclusions. And I know normally I would just do this processing by myself, and it's difficult for me to talk to the camera as I'm going through this because being vulnerable with my emotions is very difficult, even though I've worked on that a lot. And it's like I've gotten to the point where I publicly share everything that's going on. And it's like I don't care. You can judge me. You can think whatever you want. But for something like this, something so intense, so personal, so raw, and especially so fresh, it's really difficult. But that's exactly why I'm doing this because in a situation like this, I don't know what will happen. Like this entire experience, whatever it ends up being, could be my last chance to share my message, whatever that is. Whoever ends up listening to it. And I know myself. I'm very stubborn, and I know I'm not going to give up easily. I'm going to fight as hard as I can and do whatever I have to. It just sucks because over the last 6 months, so much has been happening. And when I left last year to travel, the whole point was to just stop holding myself back and just live life to the fullest from the perspective of knowing that the more difficult, the more intense things are, the better a story is going to make. And it's like, this is what I asked for, but I'm just like, so much has been happening recently that I'm just like, really? Does it really have to fucking come to this? Like, can't I catch a fucking break just once? But I guess that's just the point of life. This is life I came to live, and this is what I'm living, and I can just make the most of it while I'm here, because I don't know how long I'll be here. And just doing this, just being here and sharing this while I'm processing, while I'm in the moment, and being this raw and vulnerable, and just not holding back. Like, this is really what I want from life. Not having to hold back, not putting up a front because I care what other people think, because I know it's not important. And I really hope this is not the end. I really hope this is just the beginning. I hope that I look back, 20 years from now, and I see this moment, this experience, as the start of my journey. And everything before that was just holding myself back and trying to overcome that and failing and trying and failing. And then, life just threw this at me of like, hey, you're going to die unless you surrender to life, unless you surrender to your purpose, unless you stop holding yourself back, unless you start doing what you're really meant to do. Stop stressing, stop pushing yourself, stop being so stubborn. And I really hope that's what ends up happening. But I don't know. And it's like, I think I need to stop just sharing the story after it happens. I think I need to start sharing the story as it's happening. And I think maybe this is the first process of doing that. And I always used excuses like I hate editing, I hate, filming and all those things, but it's like maybe this is what people need. It's like, some of my closest friends, it's like, they have faced death. Like there's a friend of mine who had leukemia, and it's like she survived that. It's like I don't know the full story. It's like I know the big pieces, I know the gist of it, but now that it's like I'm in this situation, it's like, okay, I could have cancer. It's like it could be very serious, and there's a chance that I could die. It's just like it's making me realize like I need to know that story. I need to know what she went through. I need to understand how she overcame it, because soon I might be the one to have to go through that. And I know that's like, knowing her story is not really going to change anything, but it's just like this entire experience is making me realize and appreciate how little time we have, because we never know when it's going to be over, and I don't want to take anything for granted. And it's like I want to maximize the time that I have left on this earth, whether it's a couple months, couple years, or another 60 years. Like I don't know. I don't That's the thing, you don't know. And I don't want to I don't want to hold myself back. Like I've done that for way too long. And it's just, I've been working on that a lot and I've become way better at it. But it's just like in moments of crisis like this, that's when you really realize like all the defenses, all the fakeness, like all of it just comes crashing down. It's like it strips you of all the crap and you're faced with life, the harsh reality of life. And it's like, right now with everything that's been happening the last couple months and now in this last hour and everything, it's like it feels like, when people say like life sucks and then you die, this is what it feels like. But at the same time, I know that it could be like sucks, and that allows you to live. You can either give up and choose to die, or you can step up to the challenge and push through this. Not fight, not be stubborn, just embrace the journey, whatever that ends up being, and just embrace it fully. Let the people know, the people close to you, your friends and family, let them know how much you care about them. Make sure to spend time with them. Make sure to do what you're meant to do. Don't waste time in a job that's not right for you. Don't, do things that don't feel right to you just because you want to please other people. Just like life is so short. You got to make the most of it, whatever it ends up being. So obviously, this is just the start of the story. I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm going to do my best to share it as it's happening rather than waiting and sharing the story of it after it happened. So this is the end of chapter 1. Whoever's watching, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me on this journey. And I just want to remind you, like, please use this experience, use my story as inspiration, because you don't want to wait till you're in a situation like this. Just live the life you were meant to live. Don't stress yourself out. Don't hold yourself back. Just live life. Enjoy it.